freeintromusic.com layout track. This is a demo sound of freeintromusic.com. freeintromusic.com layout track.
I have heard the good news of your son's birth, and have come to pay a visit.
Venerable Asita, I thank you very much. And as you have been respected by the Sakyan royal family for a long time now, would you be so kind as to examine my child's physical characteristics? The whole family gathered here would be able to hear.
Your Majesty, please place your child in the cradle first, so that I can see him well. This royal child exhibits all the characteristics of a great being laid down in the ancient texts. I have never seen any being with the signs expressed to such perfection.
Huh? Venerable Asita!
I have examined the characteristics of your newborn son. I predict that when your son has grown up, should he lead the household life, he will become a wheel-turning monarch, a great king of the world. But if he should leave, he will become a fully enlightened Buddha, supreme teacher of gods and humans. Oh, but it's such a pity.
What's such a pity, Venerable Asita?
It's a pity that I am too old to have the chance to live to see this great being grow up.
In the future, my son will be a great being, with more power and might than any other in the world. From the 108 Brahmins I invited for the naming ceremony, you 8 have been selected to interpret my baby son's characteristics. You are all proficient. Please give your prediction for my son's future life.
Your Majesty, having examined your son's characteristics, I predict that, should he inherit your throne, he will become a great wheel-turning monarch with an empire that spreads far in every direction. But should he go forth as a monk, he'll become the perfectly enlightened Buddha, the unequaled supreme teacher and guide to the world.
Venerable Kundanya, you are the last of the 8 Brahmins. Do you agree with the other 7 Brahmins that my son has 2 courses, either to become a great wheel-turning monarch or to become a fully enlightened Buddha?
I have considered your son's characteristics in detail. And can see only one path for him. He will certainly not live as a householder, but will go forth as a monk. Then he will become enlightened as the Lord Buddha. This is beyond doubt, Your Majesty.
You predict my son will reject the household life. What would cause him to make such a decision?
Your son will see 4 signs: an old man, a sick man, a dead man, and a monk. These signs will inspire him to give up the royal throne for the sake of the holy life, through which he will become enlightened as the Buddha.
Well, I'd like my son to be a great wheel-turning monarch, ruling the 4 great continents, the greatest prestige for any king. From this point onwards, I will not allow my son to ever see an old, sick, or dead man, or a monk.
Having predicted the prince's future life, the 8 Brahmins gave him the auspicious name Siddhartha, meaning he who will succeed in that which he desires. Having returned to their homes, each of the Brahmins instructed their sons that when the time comes for the new prince to leave the household life, they should go forth and follow him. Seven days after Prince Siddhartha's birth, his mother, Queen Siri Mahamaya, passed away and became a god in the heaven of Tusida. So King Suddhodana had Queen Siri Mahamaya's younger sister Mahapajapati raise Prince Siddhartha. Later, the king took Mahapajapati as his new queen. King Suddhodana and Queen Mahapajapati had a son and a daughter together, but the queen still loved and cared for Prince Siddhartha as if he were her own son.
Both of you would like to go and watch the plowing ceremony, wouldn't you? Today my father has had the city decorated in preparation for a great ceremony. It only takes place once a year. Go and watch. I will simply sit here. You needn't worry about me.
With your permission, we'll go and watch for a while. As soon as the ceremony is finished, we'll be right back, Your Highness.
Left alone in a peaceful and shady glade, Prince Siddhartha began to sit in meditation, attaining the tranquility of the first jhana. As the afternoon passed by, the shadows of all the trees moved with the course of the sun, except for the shade of the rose apple tree under which the prince sat. It did not shift position, but remained steadily in place. When the companions returned and saw this wonder, they were startled and conveyed the news to the king, who went to see for himself.
When my son was newly born, Asita the hermit came to look at him, and to my surprise he bowed at my son's feet. On that day, I also bowed to my son for the first time. Now, my son has performed this marvel. Having seen it, I feel I must bow to him for a second time.
When Prince Siddhartha was 7 years old, King Suddhodana had 3 ponds dug in the grounds of the palace, so that the prince could enjoy himself playing with his friends. Upon seeing that the prince had grown sufficiently to begin his education, King Suddhodana sent him to study with the renowned teacher Visavamitra. Prince Siddhartha trained in 18 arts and sciences until he was adept. He was his teacher's top student, and before too long he had learnt all that his master could teach.